Everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Sima Gold. So today we are making this jumpsuit with cape. I was in the process of tacking this to the jumpsuit, so I thought to video. So if this looks like what you want to learn from scratch to the ending, stay tuned and enjoy. Thank you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Sima Gold, and on today we are going to be drafting the picture of the beautiful jumpsuit we saw earlier on before this video. So if that is what you want to watch, please kindly stay tuned, and also please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Please like and comment. If you have a question, you can comment on you can ask on the comment section, and I promise to reply. And also please don't forget to share this video if you find it very helpful. So I have my um already drafted palazzo pants. I'll drop the link below so that you can actually go and watch how I drafted this palazzo pants. I have the video already in my channel. And then I have the basic bodies. And then I have the basic bodies. So these are basically the patterns I'll be needing for this particular tutorial. But for now, I'll take the basic bodies and keep it aside, and let's work on the pants. Now I have those basic pants already. All I need to do to convert it to a jumpsuit trouser is to get the middle of it. So from this point to this point, I have 10 inches. I can mark about 5 inches, and I'll mark another 5 inches. After marking that, the next thing I will do is to get my scissors and cut. Then I'll get this pattern paper, a separate pattern paper. Then I'll put it here and mask. That's the upper part of the jumpsuit that I took out from here. That's what I'm placing here to mark. So after doing that, I'll start from that point and start marking 3 inches. This is 3 inches. This is 3 inches. And this is 3 inches. And then the next thing I will do is to take this one. Try to make sure that they are straight, they are equal here, that they are meeting. If you need to adjust, make sure that it is straight. Like this one is almost, not almost, is exactly at the same line. Then you can mask. Now the reason for this extra 3 inches is so that you can feel comfort. You don't, when you wear it, you don't feel like your clothes, you are being dragged, or you don't feel tight or uncomfortable around the waist area. That is the reason for this 3 inches on your jumpsuit. Because you can say, why can't I just do trouser and top and all of that? So that's just what the 3 inches is for comfort. And then you blend. And then you blend this one too, and then you cut. After cutting, this is what you have. Now the next part of our jumpsuit is ready, so we'll keep this aside. And then we'll come to the basic bodies. For the basic bodies, I would first of all convert these basic bodies to a bustier. I'll be using a Hamo Princess Dart bustier. So this is where I want the armhole that to start from. So I'll just connect from the bust point there. Then I would come to this side. I would mark 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches down, and then I'll connect. I'll come to this side. I'll replace back that 1.5 inches, and so that I'll not have shortage. Then by this side, after this dart leg, I'll go inward. After this dart leg, I'll go inward by 1 inch. I'll go inward by half of an inch, and then connect it straight down. After connecting it straight down, you can see that our under bust tightening has been done. Then I'll replace that extra half inch again here and blend, so we do not have a shortage while cutting. The next thing I'll do is to connect from the bust point down to this dart take in. Then from this side, I'll connect it back. After doing that, the next thing I'll do, immediately after this mid armhole, I'll come down by 1.5 and I'll connect it again. Then I'll go up by 1.5 and curve it into the armhole. Then for the back, I do not want the back to actually have any darts, so I'll just stick to this darts that I have here, and then I would give it a yoke like this. I'll give it a yoke like this, and that's all. So the next thing we are going to do now is to convert this yoke part for the front. So after doing that, the next thing I'll work on is to work on the yoke for the center front. Now you have to choose where you want the yoke depth to be. As you can see in the picture, it's a bit deep. So let's say I use 11 inches. So all I need to do is to connect from here to the 11 inches. This is what we have, but if you look at the picture, you see that it's not as open. The chest area here is not as open as it is here. So I'll go inward by half of an inch, half of an inch, half of an inch to where I'm comfortable with, and then I'll curve it like this and then blend it back. So this is more like what we have there. So we can say now that our drafting is ready. So the next thing we are going to do is to go to cutting. So to cut this, I'll start with the front. Then I'll cut out the shoulder slope. I'll cut the neck part. Then I'll cut the yoke. And then I'll close up the bust darts. So with this, we can say the front part is ready. Then we go over to the back. cutting out the difference between the front and back, which is 1 inch. So after doing this, I want there to be a dart, but I don't want the dart to be visible that I'm actually putting a dart. So what I would love to do is to close up the darts on the pattern paper. So I'll close up this dart now. Then I would mask it. So that way, there is actually a dart on this fabric. The only thing is that the dart is not visible to the eyes to see. So having done this now, I'll keep this aside, and then we go straight to cutting the lower part of the jumpsuit on the fabric. Then before we get into this, so I'm done cutting, as you can see. So what I need to do now is to take away this one, and you can see how beautiful the pant is looking already. This is the waist. You can see from the knee how it's flared out. So the next thing we are going to do is to cut the back of this pants. Okay, so I'm done folding the one for the back, and this is the front pant. I don't know if you can see it very well because this is black. So all I need for the back part of my pants is just to work on this waist part. It's just to work on this waist part, which all I need to do is to add my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches down. So the zipper allowance should be up to 9. So this is the 1.5 inches up to that 9 inches, and then I will do my joining allowance, which is 1 inches, which is half inches, sorry. Then at this crotch parts, I would add extra 2 inches here, then blend it into this half inches. Let me go about it again. This is the crotch part that I'll be closing after my zipper allowance. So my zipper allowance is 1.5, which is immediately after this half inch here. Immediately after this half inch here, the zipper allowance is 1.5. So which means that from here upward, I have a total of 2 inches. I have a total of 2 inches. Half inches for joining, 1.5 inch is for my sewing allowance. Then at this part, immediately after the zipper allowance part, I mark half inch. Then on this crotch part, I extended my crotch straight with 2 inches, and that is how we got this extra crotch. Then I blended it into that um sewing allowance. Then the only thing I'll do is to blend from here down to that crotch extension that I did for the back. And after that, that's the only thing I'm doing here. The waist, I'm not elongating the waist at all, nothing. So all I need to do now is to cut. So I'll cut. Then this is my zipper allowance that I'm cutting. Then when I get here, all I need to do now at this point is to follow the exact shape of the front trouser after cutting all of this that I needed to cut. So after doing that, you just continue cutting. And then this is what you have. The front and the back of my jumpsuit is ready. So now we go to cutting the upper part of the jumpsuit. Okay, so before we cut the upper parts, if you notice, you see that the lace we are using is actually transparent one. So it means we need to line in it. And I'm not doing a full lining, I'm just doing a lining of about 22 inches using my client's preference. It could be shorter, and I think this is how long it should be. If you want to, except you want to do a full lining, and I can just but imagine how it will look anyways. So now I'm going to pick up the front and one back. Also, it's good for you to note that I am actually using a crepe fabric for this lining, a crepe fabric for this. So I just place it and cut exactly. This fabric is already on fold, so I'll just place it carefully and cut exactly what I have. Cutting exactly what I have. And then I'll get the front and I'll cut exactly. So this is what I have for the front and the back. So this is how the lining is going to be on this outfit. After doing that, we'll now go to cutting the upper part. So now in drafting the up, I have my net. This is actually a mesh net, as you can see, but the texture is, just get a good net, because I don't know how best to describe this net, but I am actually loving the net already. So the first thing, this is the back that we drafted earlier, and this is the front. So I'll start with the front first. I'll start by cutting the yoke. I want to double my net. So all I need to do is to fold this net into two and fold it into another two. After doing that, I will now cut it out. So this is what I have for the net. I'll lay it aside, and then I'll cut the back. Now for the back yoke, I want the yoke to be lace. So I will just go ahead to cut the back yoke. I do not want it to have a zipper allowance at the yoke part. So I'll just cut this way. Or better still, I'm thinking of changing the neck, the design for the back yoke. So probably let me just have this. Let me cut from here and extend it this way. So this way, this is how my back yoke would be. I will just bias here and join here, and this is the armhole. So the back yoke is ready. Then I'll talk about the front. For the center front, or the side front first, I'll be needing about, say, 3 inches sewing allowance. I love to use enough allowances on my clothes. So this is me cutting it out. So this is the side front. I would go ahead to cut the center front. So this is the front. The center front is ready. And the side front is ready. So the only thing I need right now is the back of my fabric. So all I need to do now is to take this, I would add my sewing allowance of 3 inches on the side, and my zipper allowance of 1.5 inches. And then I'll cut. after doing that, this is the back. I'll have to cut another of this. This is the yoke of the back. This is the front, and this is the yoke of the front. So all I need to do now is to cut the lining, and then I'll the interfacing for it. I'll cut the crepe. I'm using crepe for the ins. I'll cut the crepe. I'm using crepe for the inside, and I'll put my ST on the crepe. Cut my lining. I'll cut crepe for this part, this part, this part, aside from the yoke part. Cut the lining, and then we'll go to the sewing machine and sew together. So now I have my back yoke. I cut a net to turn it because I don't want it to have a bias turning. So I cut a net of exactly the same shape and size, and I'm sewing it just the way you use your lining to turn something. So after doing that, I'll turn it like this, and this is what we'll have. So I will just secure around it. You can choose to just pin and keep it, but I just love to secure it down. So after that, this is what we have. Then I'll get the back. I have my ST already on the back part. Then this is the second part. So all I need to do now is to get this one, place it at this point, and then I'll take my lining. I'm still using the crepe as the lining, but it's optional. You can use your normal lining. Then I'll place it, and the next thing I'll be doing is to sew. If you are using a beaded lace like me, you have to take your time with the sewing. So after sewing this, I will just close the zipper side a bit, just little. And then I will do the same thing at the side, just sew it a little bit. Then I'll turn it out. So this is what I have for the back. This is the zipper allowance. This is the armhole side. I'll go right ahead to do the same thing for the other side of the back. So I've done the two backs, hem the armhole part because it's a sleeveless jumpsuit. So I'll keep this aside. Now this is the front. I've already pinned it down. I have my wadding or my padding. I have my crepe that I put ST on it. So I have 1, 2, and 3. I've already joined the lining together, just the normal joining together, and I'll keep it aside. I have the net that serves as the yoke.
So first thing first I would love to do is to hem the neck part of the yoke and the side, because remember it's a sleeveless. So I'll hem this side, then I'll hem round it. So I've sewn round the neck, the armhole parts, and then top stitch round this design. So all I need to do now is to come here and sew from here, from this point to this point, and from this point to this point. So I'll do that and show us. So I've added it, look at it, down to this point. So the only thing I need to do now is to sew this. So that's all I will be doing now. Remember I said if you are sewing a beaded fabric, you have to just take your sewing gently, raise your the lower pedal of your sewing machine a bit slightly up, so you do not have breaking, you do so you don't have your needle getting broken all the time. That's just the simple trick for this. And after doing that, take out your thread. So you necessarily must not use hammer and break all the beads on your fabric. As you can see, my beads are still intact. If I see the need to reshaping the bust area, which I think I should, I would go ahead to do that. So having gotten this part, I would go ahead to fix the other part and show us. So after joining it, this is what you have. This is what you have. So all I need to do now is to take the lining. I'll first of all come from this point. I'll turn it to the ending part. Then I'll do the same thing here and show us. So I've turned it. Although I went ahead to turn this part. So after turning this inside one, all you need to do is to turn it like this. You close up the armhole and close up the side, and that's all. So this is what we have now. This is what we have, and this is the inside, this is the outside. So I'll keep this aside. This is the lower part of the jumpsuit, the trouser part. I already top stitched my lining. Down. You see that here is empty, is not lining, while from here is lining. So I will just take the two crotch parts and after doing that I will just close the crotch part. So after joining this crotch part, this is the middle point. I'll get this one, I'll get the middle part of it. That's the upper part, and I'll place it on the middle part of this trouser, and I'll simply join. So I've done the front. The next thing I'll do for the back is to close the 1/2 inch immediately after the zipper allowance for the trouser part. So after joining it, you have it together.
The only thing I need to do now is to take the upper parts and join to this. So I've joined the upper part. As you can see, there is no dart here, but you and I know that while we were drafting it, we put a dart on this dress. Then I'll repeat the same thing here. So after doing that, this is what we have. The only thing I need to do now is to attach my zip on the back side, and then I will join the shoulder of the front and the back together. So I fix the zip and join the shoulders together. This is the front and this is the back, and you can see the zip has been fixed. So all I need to do now is to fit the sides of the jumpsuit and also join the middle parts of the trouser straight down. So I'll do that and show us, but I'm going to give you a clue on how to go about your fitting for this jumpsuit. Now in fitting your jumpsuit, you are going to check your bust measurement. Remember we added sewing allowances there, then the waist too, but anything immediately after the waist you are to sew by half of an inch straight down, because your trouser do not have sewing allowances apart from half inch on both sides and also at the middle part of your part. So from the waist upward, you are to measure and fit perfectly to your body measurement, but from the waist below, you just, for the trouser part, you just sew by half of an inch straight down, and then your jumpsuit is ready. So I'll go about that, and then we'll now talk about how to go about making the cape design. So now for the cape for the jumpsuit, I have my crepe or satin, then your thick gum stay or a collar stay, then your boning and your lining and the lace that will be on top of the satin or crepe. After doing that, the first thing to do is to iron this thick gum stay or collar stay on this fabric. Now the lengths I have about 30 inches, and the breadth of 9 inches. So the length is 30 inches while the height is 9 inches. So I would top stitch and then iron my thick gum stay or collar stay on the crepe or satin that I'm using first of all. So after joining your or ironing your stay to your fabric, I have my lace. I'll place it on top, and then I'll place my lining on top of the lace. So this is my gum stay, my satin or crepe, then my lace and my lining. Then I'll join it together. So after joining the sides together, then here and here, I will just turn it out from this side. So after getting that, this is what it looks like. I will top stitch on this edge. Then after top stitching, I will make a casing. I'll give a space of half inch and top stitch again. That will help me have a casing to fit in my boning. So I'll top stitch on top of this, give a space of half inch and top stitch again, and I'll have a casing here. That will help me for the boning that I'll be inserting into it. So I'll do that and show us. So I've done the casing. I've top stitched by this side, give half inch space, and then top stitch on the other side. So I have my boning, which is about
28 inches. Then I have my masking tape. I'll use to cover the sharp points of the bonings. After that, I'll come into this point that I opened, and I'll start inserting the boning. This would help in maintaining the structure that I want it to have. So this is what I have now. The boning helps to maintain the structure that you want. So you can see the difference. This place have a boning and this place does not have a boning. So I'll repeat the same process I did here, which is I'll top stitch here, give a space of half of an inch and top stitch again, and then insert my boning. After that, I'll show us the outcome and we'll go to the next step. So after doing that, this is what we have, and I have this part. I will just tuck it in and run a straight stitch on it. Then I'll put, when my client wears it and we're about to tack it, I'm going to show us the next process on how to go about fixing this to the outfit. So for now, I will just sew a straight stitch to help me have a neat finishing.